another jam-packed weekend of rugby coming your way. Of course, it's the Not So Normal Rugby Show. It's episode 10, and I'm your boy HV alongside my man LC. Action-packed weekend. Bro, I'm telling you, we've had everything from tries to fans not happy with results, but that's at the end of the day, that's how the game goes, man. It's about the bounce of the ball.
Yeah, action-packed weekend of rugby this weekend. It started off obviously the Springboks playing at the morning in the All Blacks, and then we headed off into the afternoon where all the club rugby was presiding. Western Province had a decider there in Stellenbosch. Boland once again jam-packed, rugby all over the place. So yeah, rugby doing well, RCV, and obviously good to be here to chat about that rugby. So this means that we are going from grace to grace, RCV.
Amen. Now, we are at the beautiful Brackenfell Rugby Club, and we want to obviously say thank you to them for hosting us tonight. Another one of these clubs that's part of the furniture in the Western Province Super League A. And speaking of the Super League A, that decided at Stellenbosch, quite a big game.
Yeah, quite a big game. Marties, like we spoke last week, I said like Marties isn't Marties this year. It seems they took a loss here, took a few L's, and I thought that Durban would come out on top there, and which they did with a bonus point, taking them also up to 60 points, and just falling short of Falls Bay, who were crowned champions or league champions by literally a points difference points difference of 5 points, CB, at the end of the day.
Speaking of points difference, 3 teams finished on 60 points, 60 log points. Points difference key in deciding what goes on in the next couple of weeks in terms of the quarterfinals. But you've got that result first and foremost, and then can you run us through the quarterfinals or potential quarterfinals as we worked it out?
Yeah.
Of course, just want to put a little disclaimer there that we try to do a little fishing ourselves and worked out the quarterfinal fixtures for you. Lucian?
Yeah, so the results this weekend, RCB Tygerberg losing to UCT at home 17-38. So UCT proving to be the stronger Tiger there this weekend. SK Homers beating UWC surprisingly 50 points to 22. So well done to SK Homers there.
Speaking of, we've been writing them off for weeks, and then they come out this week and they hit 50 past UWC. Where has this SK Homers team been this season?
That I can't answer you, RCB. But we know that SK Homers has always been a proud club, and they will always want to bring their best.
Yeah.
Maybe this year, maybe a few things didn't go well. Now they have a chance in the Super League B to repatch things, to regrow, and to build up once again. So that's the thing for SK Homers, I believe. Next year will be a nice growing phase for them to rebuild.
Yeah, it's quite damning, that result. I mean, for UWC especially, going down 50 points with a team that really from the get-go they seemed up against the entire Western Province League. It's tough in the Super League. I mean, Marties not being Marties and Durban coming away there.
Yeah,
at the Craven.
Yeah, if you don't pitch up on a Saturday, RCB, you're gonna get taught a valuable lesson, especially in the Super League. If you look at the other results, Marties losing to Durban in Stellenbosch 16 points to 38. And then my beloved Paul losing to Hamlets at home at Forest Street, 31 points to 47, which means that Paul now, according to what I calculated on the log, Paul goes down to the last position, and SK Homers finish second last. So yeah, and NTK obviously now playing in that promotion relegation match. That has to be decided as the Super League B plays out. And yeah, so if we look at the quarterfinals, RCV, it's kind of like we worked out. UCT will play against Hamiltons, and Milnerton will play against Marties.
Ooh, it's a couple of tough ones there, because obviously Durban Falls Bay already in the semi-finals. Yes, how do you see those two fixtures going? It's going to be tough.
UCT, I believe UCT will have too much. We sê hulle in Afrikaans skietgoed.
Te veel skietgoed.
Hulle gaan te veel skietgoed het for Hamilton, so I believe UCT will come up tops there. And like we said, Marties not being Marties this year, I believe it's Hamilton's Unimals here this year. So I think we'll see Milnerton and UCT coming up tops in that.
Well, I'm going to make a different call here because I'm going, yes, Unimil is going to beat Marties, but I think Hamilton's. I have this feeling about Hamilton's.
Okay.
Extra couple of weeks off. I think they're going to get one over UCT. I'm pretty sure we'll have no varsity teams in the semi-finals this year. It's a heated debate, the varsity teams being in the Super League, and especially in the playoffs.
Obviously, everybody has their different opinions. I enjoy having a Marties,
Kracht in Kracht.
UWCDs. It gives the student players also good competition, you know. They're playing against real adults, you can say, guys that have maybe even played on a higher level. So it's good for the young men at varsity, and then they can take that obviously through to varsity cup next year and just grow their rugby, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, if we look at the Super B quarterfinals, RCB, it's going to be St. George's against Belleville and Belha against All Saints, obviously with Helderberg being top of the log there. They won the league. And obviously Super C, Makassar will play against Rangers, and Kalmo will play against Kraaifontein, and with Strand there being the champions.
Yeah, that's so automatic promotion places there. A lot to play for still in Western Province. A lot to play for. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks coming, and I know both of us, we are excited. We're excited here at Club Rugby Live as well, because we expanded and we are continuing to expand at a rapid rate, because we are going to show you a little bit of highlights all the way out of Gauteng. It's Randfontein versus Rodepoort.
Jong, hy raak baie vinnig ontslaaf van daai bal. Nou is dit die vleuel Brandon Benningfield. Nou is dit Frank Kutiti in die klein kantjie. Hy skitter in die bal lewendig. Nou is dit die flank Manny Rodriguez. Die slot daarso Andrew van Volskink wat die bal pragtig opvat. Franku lang aangee, Tianel. Marks, daar's passie aan die buitekant. Die doellyn. Ja, die dekverdediging. Nel. Kort aangee. Nou ja, hier's ons punte. Ja, dis Ernstring. Van 'n Westhuizen wat die bal kan ingooi. Voor in die lyn staan is dit van 'n Juffer wat opgaan, die bal wat bemeester word hier deur Randfontein. Franco Tidi op aangee, dan hou hom nog steeds beskikbaar. Pyleveld, goeie hande. Nou is dit Marks. Hy het manne in sy buitekant die regtervleuel. Hy klop twee manne. Kyle Verwyg sterk loop hier deur daai man. Rodepoort se verdediging word getoets hierso, teendryf. Rodepoort op die aanval kan hulle punte aanteken. Die bal hier in die agterkant. Anderson, hy trap af. Anderson wat oorduik. Ja. Hy wat onder die stadig wat hy instap. Jan Kutet kyk die bal aan. Ja, hy ongelukkig die paal. Manny Rodriguez. Frank Kutet daarso nou in die middelveld. Nou is dit die nommer 18 wat die bal opvat. Elvin Vogsler. Dit. Marks, goeie gaping, Pretorius. Daar's manne aan die buitekant. Ernstring, ja nee.
Well done to my span. Hulle is 'n klomp eisters forwards. Hulle het ons gemaak dat ons agter kan doen met die bal wat ons wil.
Rugby, healthy, all over South Africa. I mean, Randfontein, Rodepoort. Who would have thought that Club Rugby Live would be all the way out in Gauteng, man?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, RCV. We are not the bottom feeders, we are the top dogs, you know, and what we are trying to do is obviously we're trying to franchise out, and it's good to see that we can get to club rugby out in the Gauteng areas, out in those places. I used to play against those guys. I know those are big guys playing over there. So good scene for rugby, and it just shows how healthy club rugby is all over and all across South Africa, RCV.
Yeah, and seeing that we are expanding, I want to get to you, the viewer. If you know of any streamers, or if you want to try your hand at commentating, we're always up for you to join the team. All you need to do is contact us, clubrugbylive@gmail.com, and drop us a little mini CV, a little voiceover if you can do so. And we'll be in touch, and hopefully you'll be able to join the team. It'll be nice to go up to Joburg and you know, to do a little bit of training with you know, the junior commentators as well out there in Gauteng?
I enjoy the prospects and I enjoy the excitement, the thoughts of, you know, dreaming big and aiming high RCV, because I believe that's where we can go, and I believe that's where we are on our way to. It's the top RCV, and I'm looking forward to the journey, and I'm looking forward to meeting more and even new commentators, guys that want to stream, even going out there and meeting different rugby players RCV. That's what rugby is all about, meeting new people and just becoming and forming a great network.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we've got to get into it because we have got a lot of highlights to run with you. I mean, jeepers, the Boland had some games this week, some really, really interesting games. So I want to say a big ups to everybody that went out and attended these games, that's continuing to support not only the games or at the field itself, but also here on the stream. We appreciate it. Just want to remind you to hit that subscribe button and hit that notifications tab as well, so you can get notified when we are live. And we had 3 live games this weekend, and we are going to get right into those highlights. This is Atlantics versus Black Leaves.
Wat weer die kant uit gaan opsoek. So die bal is op die oomblik, as die bal weer binne, so staf weer onder die bal. So hy gaat definitief afskop. So op einde van die dag is en die kom Tabo, die Boland speler. Hy is op die aanval. 3-4 man wat hy klop en die kom gaans by Black Leaves op die aanval. Van die kaptein. En daar speel Black Leaves, hier kan probleme wees. Binne die 22 en die kom en Black Leaves. Hoog wat
Use 9.
En gaan aan Duffy wat die bal het. En hier kom Tabo. Het kost Tabo keer. Tabo is oor die voordeellyn. 6 wat weer voer. En Zavan. En die kom gaans by het genoeg numbers. En hier komt Dien oor.
Dat is een goede recept wat hij heeft die gegeven. Want het klinkt naar een winnenrecept. Zoals ik voorheen gezegd heb ook. Als je die bal gaat liggen, gaan die mannen met die gewicht een beetje zwaar trekken.
En daar gaan Notzola dwars deur. Goeie 3. Hij gaat rond af op Black Leaves. Hij komt buiten die 22.
Iets wat vertraagd daar zo. De bal komt uit Desmaury. Dat is Giano Symes en hij denkt een nieuwe oor voor 5 punten. Strafschop aan Black Leaves. Black Leaves wat vandaag aanmaakt. Hij krijgt zijn ondersteuning daar van die flank. Hij beert nog steeds voor en toe, kan die grond toe gebracht worden niet.
Tackle.
Hij is nog wel grond toe. Die bal is gewoon aan de dus Conway waar hij probeert counter. En die bal is in de handen van die nummer 8. Wat voor een tibia. Hij wordt grond gebracht door het Atlantics. En die bal is weer uit. Dat wordt afgevoerd in die achter. Dus de gevaarman van Black Leaves wat hier gaan. Gaat niet vastgevat worden. Yep. En dus weer Black Leaves met die bal in die hand. Hij geeft af voor nummer 18 wat weer breekt. Gaat niet dwars hier. En dat is het 3 voor Black Leaves.
Ja, kom ons geleerd.
Sure. How was that not for rugby? Atlantics against Black Leaves. Atlantics falling short at home against Black Leaves, 27 points to 36. RCV, Black Leaves climbing that ladder at a rapid rate at the moment.
Yeah, they are, but obviously they're a long way away from getting the top 12 spot. According to my knowledge in the logs, technically there's only 3, maybe 4 teams that's involved there.
Ja.
It's always a lekker derby, Gansbaai, Tien
Ja.
Hermanus. Kijk eens, as die battle van die kusdorpies, my bro. It's tough out buiten.
Ja.
But we got to get to the logs. Caledon, interesting result once again for Caledon.
Yeah, 3 games drawing in a row. So Caledon 31, Safkol 31, 3 games in a row draw.
It's tough because as we're going through the logs here, Caledon on 64 played 15, so they only have 3 games left. Houston played 14, they've got 58 points. But the Rangers now, and that's obviously the team that I'm backing to make the top 12 because I'm from the area. They played 13, they've got 50 points, so they've got 2 games on Caledon, a game on Houston. I mean, there's all to play for. There's Safkol still in the running as well, 47 points, but they've played 14. A lot can still happen in this section, which is interesting. But there's also some other results. Noordwester, for instance, had some interesting results as well.
Ja, Noordwester had interesting results. Few teams actually, een paar spanne het pak gevat. Dus wie?
Ja, heel het pak gevat.
Citrusdal wen vir Elandsbaai 58-15. Die Lises klop vir Young Spurs 50-16. Invincibles klop vir Majestics 29-22, hy was bietjie nader. En die Marines verloor by die huis teen die Eagles 22-35.
Weer eens 4 spanne. Delicious top 59, Citrusdal 55, Invincibles en Eagles 50. So daar is nog heel wat kans vir enige van die 4 spanne om die top 12 te maak. So dit gaan 'n baie interessante paar weke wees vir die spanne in die Boland. Gepraat van, ons het nog 'n highlights package vir julle en ons is in die Breë Langeberg by Young Hamiltons teen Aston United. Check die.
Pragtige rang daar, die een van die spelers Enrico Kleintjie Steyn en dis Swart Rodwell Martin speel uit, die kom hy binne. Hy word 'n pragtige onderskep. Dis pragtig gedoen deur die 14 vleuel Cowan Kibru. Mooi gelees. Teen verloop van spel en is Aston United wat eerste punte aanteken in hierdie kragmeting. Wagner wat hom diep skop. Jusiel wat hom kry, Steyn wat self nou aantree, wat gaan hy met hom maak? Hy besluit hy gaan hardloop. Hy is nog steeds Ebro Steyn. Kry die ondersteuning van die Tira. Van die kan hy maak self, hy gaan self deur. Dis Tira wat deur hardloop gemaklik. Goed gedoen deur opgetel aan die skrimskakel. Joseph speel aan binne toe, nog steeds vorentoe. Weer Joseph, hy kom uit, dit lyk na eerste wat gaan punt aanteken. Nou sit binne toe gehardloop deur die Villiers. Gekry daar deur lyk na Nusaiden Boysen. Kaptein wat nou hard toe by besluit, hy gaan binne toe, kry die ondersteuning Dawie wat hom kry vir Wagner, nog steeds Wagner met die bal wat daar opgehou raak. Verdediger van Hamiltons wat nou moet sou as die bal beskikbaar. Ja, hy is beskikbaar, alles speel aan kant. Dit lyk na Cowan Kibru. Nog steeds Kibru gaan hy oor die lyn. Yes!
Action out of the Breë Langeberg region. A lot of interesting results there as well.
Ja, a lot of interesting results. HCV McGregor verloor by die huis teen Robertson Rangers 22-24. Montetjie klop vir Toupark 31-12. Robertson Town klop vir Villiers Montetjie 24-23 naalskrapwedstryd daarso. En Young Hamiltons wen vir Aston United 39-23 en in die laaste game Worcester Villiers wat weer eens verloor hierdie keer by die huis teen Swellendam 26-30.
Daai moet 'n tough een wees. Ek meen verlede week het hulle naalskrap verloor teen top of the table Robertson Rangers en hulle gaan verloor teen die span wat tweede laaste is. Sielkundig, hoe affek daai vir jou as 'n coach en daai span? By die huis in Worcester, die span wat tweede laaste is op die lok kom en hulle kom wen jou op jou tuisveld.
Ja, sielkundig as jy wie, dit moet 'n laagtepunt wees, you know. As 'n mens kyk na hulle seisoen tot dusver toe, is nie op standaarde van waar Worcester Villiers hulle self wil meet, you know. Ja, hulle is mos 'n klub wat bo aan die punte leer, wil kompeteer. Hulle is 'n span wat top 12 toe 'n mens kan sê
journeyman, hulle is gewoon
hulle is
daar.
natuurlik top 12 toe.
Kyk, as jy kyk na die Breë Langeberg streek, nou wonder jy, okay, so Villa is top en dan wie gaan hulle join in die top 12? Dit is gewoonlik die conversation wat ons het. Ons het altyd daai chat, maar soos ons nou al vir 'n hele paar weke sê, dit is 'n bietjie topsy-turvy, man.
Ja.
Maar hulle het ook gesê hulle is besig om te bou.
Okay.
So vir julle Villa fans daar buite, moenie worry nie. Stiek by julle team, dinge gaan regkom. Rome was nie in 'n dag gebou nie.
Ja.
So daai rebuilding proses vat altyd so klein bietjie tyd. In die Wit Sentraal was daar baie goeie results ook.
Ja, natuurlik Wit Sentraal, ons kyk mos nou altyd as 'n mens kyk na die spanne wat gaan sterk deurkom, hulle kom uit die Wit Sentraal uit. So Ceres by die huis vat pak teen Roses United 8-69. Hillcrest wen vir Evergreens by die huis 26-11 en Newton klop vir Tilbag 52-38.
Yes. Groot skores daar so in die Wit Sentraal.
Groot skores in die Wit Sentraal. Roses United wat wys hulle is enigiemand se speelmaat nie. En hoe kan die wedstryd wat die naweek opkom, as jy wie nommer 1 teen nommer 2, Roses United teen Bella Vista. Hy gaan 'n groot een
In die Wellington.
In die Wellington.
Daai gaan 'n lekker game wees. Ja, want tans Roses en Bella, hulle is top. Hamlet is ook nog daar op 63, so 3 spanne. wat daar definitief 'n impak kan maak. So het gaan interessant wees. Ek wil ook net noem dat in Robertson is dan net so 'n grootte hierdie week en dis Rangers wat speel teen Montetjie Club. So dit gaan ook 'n lekker wedstryd wees en ons hoop om weer al die pad Robertson toe te gaan want dis altyd 'n tawwe ene.
Ja.
Maar dit lyk tyd. Dit lyk amper asof die spanne regtig waar in die top 12 amper gesettel is oor wie nou eintlik gaan fight vir daai posisies. Maar baie om voor te speel nog.
Nog baie om voor te speel. Ons het laasweek daaroor gepraat oor die marathon.
Ja.
En you know, wie is nou die man met die uithou vermoë? Wie is die een met die karakter, met die guts, met die wil, met die ywer? Wie wil dit regtig baie graag hê? En dit is maar waar die muis gaan geskei word van die katte as jy weet.
Ja, soos Lucian gesê het, nog baie om voor te speel, maar die segment van die show is ek baie excited oor. I mean, the both of us are coaches, and we also trying to do our thing, but you guys know we have Coaches Corner every week, and this week we've got a special guest and a special treat for you, our viewers. We've got one of the best coaches in the world joining us tonight, and it's an absolute honor having this man on the show.
Yeah, absolute honor having Coach Pieter de Villiers on our show. CV obviously comes from my hometown, Paul. So yeah, looking forward to having him on the show, and yeah, have a good chat. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a good chat. CV.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have a good chat. This is Coach's Corner. Check it out. It's Coach's Corner time. You know, it's that part of the show where we have a chat with the coach of the club where we are at. But tonight, we are in a privileged position to have rugby royalty alongside us. And these gentlemen need no introduction, but we're going to introduce them anyway. And they're doing fantastic work with the deaf people in our country. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic knowing that we've got a national team, Lucian, now that is being coached by one of the best coaches in the world.
Yeah, what an honor, what a privilege it is to have Coach Pieter de Villiers on our talk show this evening. Het voelt eintlik surreal, a klein bietjie coach. I remember going back to Radio Casey days when Uncle Peter Daniels was still with us. I remember doing that show that night there with you, and also to have Andy here. Thank you so much for being with us on the show tonight to have a chat on Coach's Corner, just about the different challenges that you face as a coach with the deaf, and also just to motivate and hopefully encourage and inspire young and up-and-coming coaches that are looking at this show, who's looking maybe for a place just to find a little bit of inspiration, Coach, in terms of their coaching career. So yeah, good to have you this evening, Coach.
Yeah, thanks, and good to be here, and I hope I can add value to your show.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I think you're going to add a lot of value to the show, and I'm going to jump right into it because you're one of the best coaches in the world, and I'm not saying this to float your boat or anything, but it's the truth. You are the man who went to Dunedin and did something that wasn't done before in the professional era of rugby, and now you're working with these special athletes. How different is it going from that setup at the box to these athletes that obviously need a little bit more special needs and attention in terms of the communication?
Yeah, I think communication is the least of your problems, because communication is something that everybody needs to do very well in rugby, in all kind of team sport. So communication never indicated to you that you must talk.
Oh, that's true.
You
It's
know,
powerful.
You must just communicate so that everybody understands at a certain time where and what and how, and then within the speed that you want to create, better than what the other team is. So the challenge is for me is to identify what tools do I need to make them better, you know. And with Andy on my side, we managed to have two professors from Tux who did a 15-year what do you call it? research on how to work with people like that. And I was sitting with him for almost 3 hours, and then I realized how weak I really am, how lost I really am, and what if I only had those skills when I was the Springbok coach. And nobody would have ever come close to our team, you know. So yeah, I'm feeling so excited again, rejuvenated, to just bring across this, what people need. And it's not what they need only that excites me, is because they want it. Some of our people who are so-called normal, they think they're much better than anybody else. You can't teach them anything. You can't actually bring them to the place where they say, whoa, let me now just sit still and take in, soak in, and then take all the knowledge, and then according to my strengths and weaknesses, I will use it with the players that I'm working with. That is the challenge that we have. And then the last thing I can add here before we move on is that what made us realize when we went to Worcester to work there, what made us realize how special this is that are we normal or are they normal?
Sure. Yeah.
Because our ears are there to listen to all the noises and every nonsense. When you give them an assignment, they focus on the assignment only. And 1 to 3, they'll do it, you know.
Yeah, and that's where I want to bring you in. Andy Daniel is the team manager. It must be liquor working with these people, yeah?
Yeah, it's amazing because you're so used to being around like elite level sport, and then rugby clubs and like training, for instance, is just a bundle of noise. But watching these players, both male and female, so we went down to Delabat School, 36 players turned out. Wow. Students, there was girls, there was boys, and it only took coach one demonstration they were in, because there was no naughty kids at the back making noise. They know that they have to focus on the demonstration. They have to focus on the interpreter that's helping us. If they don't get that right, they're going to get lost. So actually, having focused rugby players has actually been a real treat.
Eye-opener.
Yeah, it's been a real treat, because there's not like that person at the back who's causing trouble or talking or not listening, because they all have to be so focused or else they're going to get left behind. And they've known that for 20 years. They've known that for 20, they've lived with it. So having that's been really good, but it's been great obviously watching coach adapt. But for me personally, it's been amazing. It's been a huge journey, because you're trying to communicate and you're trying to encourage, and the natural way of doing it is by noise. So not being able to do that and actually having to adapt yourself, it's actually a really humbling experience. And that's, I think for me, has probably been the most enjoyable thing so far.
And for you as team manager, how important is goal setting? Because I mean, you also got goals for the team as a team manager.
Yeah, absolutely. But we can't really set those goals at the moment, other than getting people there, because we're going to go to Gauteng at the end of September, and the Blue Bulls, for instance, have got a full deaf rugby set up there.
Wow.
There's a couple of deaf sevens teams we found out. So we're kind of learning on the job. We're finding out, and obviously we're working out that some of the communication coming back our way isn't always effective as well. So we're having to dig around to find those little gems, but we're just putting ourselves out there. We're ploughing it on social media, and anyone, I think we likened it to throwing enough lines out there and somebody will take a bite, sort of thing. So that's what we're doing at the moment. And so it's the twofold of, at the moment we're enjoying the process, and then when business comes along, then the business head will have to come on, and when we whittle it down to a team that we want to go and win a World Cup, then it'll be business as usual. And we'll have learned enough by then, fingers crossed, to communicate and get the best out of these players.
Yeah, awesome, Coach. Coach, you were speaking about the tool set, you know, and you were speaking about if you knew these skills earlier when you were a Bok, what are some of these tools that you have now in your toolbox, Coach? Maybe you can share or shed some light on those
That toolkit is overflowing at this point. Well, I'm interested to hear this.
You know, private processes precedes public presentations. And that is very, very important for us. That what's wrong with that players? Nothing. They're only deaf. My children didn't listen to me, so they deaf too. You understand? That's how I treat them. This is how I treat them. This is number one. Number two, what do we need as a skill set? Do people understand the difference between space and a gap. So if people don't understand that, if they don't know it, how do you coach people to run to a gap or to run to space? And that is what we are trying to get across to these guys. If they understand those little things, then they know where to run to, because the ball will be there when they get there, you know? And that is the little things that some coaches want to drown the people with structures and structures and structures. What we want to do is we want them to see 4 or 5 phases ahead.
Wow.
You know? And that's easy to coach that. We want to see them 4 or 5, but everybody sees the same picture. So whenever you decide on, say, number 1, and number 1 is now if you say kick off number 1, now everybody understands, oh, number 1 is a contesting kickoff. So if this guy kick that way and this guy going to contest, I must fall back to be the next support player in this whole thing. Then if he falls back, somebody else who's sweeper must just be right there, because he's going to be the first stealer if we don't win the ball back. You understand what I'm getting? So all the process is just in place. Everybody understands it. And if you win that ball back, then they just play wild, and then they try to get people out of the gaps, so that the next support runner can run through the gap. And there we go. So you apply pressure with the ball, and you control the game without the ball.
Yeah. So, coach, how would you, as a coach, how would you set out your week? Like planning for the week, Monday you do fitness, or Tuesday. How does a week normally look under your hand, coach?
No, we don't have the players professionally. This is a charity for us. We don't get paid for it. So what we do is, he's got all the email addresses. We send to them what we want them to, how to prepare. In the next month, we're going to test the players in Pretoria. Their brain profiles, to see how many left brain, how many right brain players we have, so that they can understand who can play in what position to do what we want them to do, what we people don't understand.
Yeah.
We don't test our players. And then our fitness test has been done, our agility test has been done, and endurance tests. So if we understand what makes them tick off the field, we then understand how we can actually get them to go do the stuff. And I'm very excited, because, you know, if I give them what they need, they will go do what they want. And that's so important. So what is high performance coaching? High performance coaching is to get the player who can do it to want to go do it.
Gee, but that's good. Andy, these processes that you guys have put in place, I mean, for me sitting here, it's something that at club level we don't have. Some provincial players, or they don't even get tested in this sort of way. How important is it for club rugby and provincial rugby to get to that level where they can test their players to a certain extent, where you're able to see if he can play in a certain position or not?
Yeah, it's everything. Because it's those little moments. It's they'll say so the 2% at the top is what you use them more, and just those little advantages. I know Dave Brailsford, the old British cycling coach. If you can do everything that you do 1% better, everything 1% better, you probably do 100 different things, 20 different things on a rugby field. That's an extra 20% to your game. So it's all those sort of things. But it's worth mentioning at this point that people have been amazingly supportive of what we're trying to do. Living Ball, Marlon, who you know really well, he comes out of nowhere, 10 brand new rugby balls. We had nothing. We were borrowing off Delabat School in Worcester, the deaf school, and they've been amazing, because they've allowed us pitch time and they've allowed us access. And then other people are coming out to try and sponsor this or help there, and potentially even a vehicle for us to get around in just because of the kit. So it was funny. I think I'll give you a good example. We got contacted by a company that does compression tights and compression shorts, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, cool. Like, you get the email and you're like, oh, that's nice of you. Yeah, I don't really. Then I thought, hang on, when did I feel best playing rugby? It was when I had a professional coach, I had all the training gear. So you know what? Them putting on compression stuff is going to make them feel like professional rugby players, and that's how we're treating them. So they deserve to feel like professional rugby players.
And that's why I want to get in here. Just apologies. the commercial sector. How important is it for the commercial sector to back you from an administrative point of view?
It's everything at the moment. So that's the other half of the challenge here is the end game. Well, sorry, no, the short-term end game is for us to go to a Sevens World Cup in Argentina in April next year, male and female team, which is great that it's not a 15s, because I think at this point, but after that World Cup, we want to continue. We want to develop deaf rugby to a 15s game. There have been little pockets of 15 man and women's deaf rugby in this country, but then it's fallen away again because it's not been given the sort of the spotlight that it deserves, and that's why it's so great that Pieter's got involved, because it's really elevated it. However, unlike other unions around the world, like England, Wales, the only difference to their kit is that it's got the word deaf underneath. They're still wearing exactly the same kit as the Springboks, as Wales. They're backed by the union. I'm not going to sit here and sort of slate people, but we're not backed by SARU financially in any way. We're an association that's affiliated, and we'll leave that to the president and vice president to fight those battles. But yeah, we're out there with sponsorship decks. We're sending them to all the big companies. So yeah, we are going to need funding from somewhere to make these people's dreams happen and our dreams happen. Let's be honest about it. So yeah.
Can we talk about that 1% that Andy...
I was going to ask you about that now.
That 1% is so important. Now, coaches don't understand that 1%. If you coach a player and he gives his everything and you win a semi-final, how are you going to improve that 1% for a final?
Yeah, and you coaches at home, I think you should take a listen to this, especially the guys in the Ball and Rugby Union, with the top 12s looming. This is going to be crucial stuff. Take a listen to this.
Some of the 1% might not be directly rugby related. You know? So if you played your best, how can you go better than that? If you want to improve a player skill-wise with 1%, you need almost 1 million minutes.
Wow.
To improve him 1%.
That's something I didn't know. And I mean, I'm a qualified coach as well, so I'm also getting tips here.
So you can't,
wow.
so you can't go improve you just like this for next week. But you can improve on all other areas of the person.
Yeah. Wow.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
If he's a latecomer in the team, if he can improve being early the whole week, it's already a 1% from his side. So if we can get 1% from 23 players, 1% from 20 is 23%. Listen to what I'm trying to say to you. If you played 60% to get to the final, you're adding 23%. Yeah. You're playing 83% on Saturday, 90% on Saturday. Who can stop you?
Wow. Powerful indeed, and that's why lastly I want to come in. The club scene at this moment, we've got a lot of obviously amateur sides, and how important is it for coaches from a professional background to come back into the club scene and give back into the community or someone, because South Africa is, I think it was Steve Hansen who said South Africa's rugby players are the best in the world, but it's almost like we don't know how to use them properly. And from an amateur perspective, how important is it for professional guys to come back and try and uplift that club or that team or that player?
You're only amateur if you can't think like a professional.
Wait, can we just do that again? Coach Pieter, can you repeat that quickly? Because that is powerful stuff.
If you take your car to the backyard mechanic and he fixes it for you, it's professionally done.
Yeah. Amen. Wow.
So yeah, Coach Pieter, one last question from me, Coach. I remember a while ago, obviously, everybody has their own journey, Coach. Your journey probably much harder than any other coach's journey reaching the Springboks, obviously with the cultural background of South Africa and where rugby has come from in South Africa, Coach. Coach, what made you keep the faith during that time when you were rising up, when you were a young coach? You had ambitions, you had dreams of becoming the top. What made you stay until the end?
I didn't want more. I didn't want more and more. I added more to my life. And I lived by the creed, if nothing brought me this far, how far can nothing take me?
Sure.
So don't come and provoke me with, we can give you this and we can, no, I don't have a price on my head. You can't give me anything other than support. If you can't support, don't be part of my team.
Sure.
You know, and that is what Andy is such an outstanding person. My agreement with Andy is the following, and I think every coach should hear and listen to this and apply it. When I face the rugby field, it's my responsibility. Whenever I turn my back on the rugby field, it's his responsibility.
Yeah.
So everything off the field, I don't even bother to tell him, why didn't, no, he must work it out for himself.
Yeah.
Because on that side, I have too many things that I have to do. And there's a saying in the Bible, you're going to carry your cross. We are carrying too many times other people's crosses. And when it's our time, we're so tired, we can't carry our own cross.
Wow, that's powerful.
One last thing from me, sorry, RCV. Coach, we mentioned the Bible now, and I remember the last time
Yes, I want this, the prophet.
And you said these words, you said, you know, it is out of the Bible. You said a prophet is not known. A profeet is nie geken in sy eie tuiste nie of in sy eie land nie. A prophet is not known in his own homeland.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate just a little bit on that, Coach, if you can still remember that?
Yeah, you know, the big thing is if you brought up your children, 80% of what they are is you. So if you do something new, they know it already. Now, if you take it to your town, people are looking at you because you're so good. They expect you to be good, and they don't give you the credit anymore.
Yeah.
You understand? We're getting it, and that's the one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is people will be never jealous on me. I never ever met anybody who's jealous on me. But I met a hell of a lot of people who are jealous on their own inabilities.
Yeah.
And then they try to push me aside so that they can look good. What I say is, if you don't want to learn anything from me, it doesn't take away my knowledge.
Sure. That's powerful. Just quickly before we end off Coach's Corner, it's been an extended segment, but it's been a brilliant segment indeed. Any word of advice for the young coach, even myself and Lucian, that really want to take their coaching to the next level? We've got a lot of club coaches that always tune in as well. Any form of advice for them?
There's nothing in rugby that nobody knows. Everybody knows what you know. Don't think you know something that they don't know. The only thing that holds us back to become brilliantly great is we can't share.
Yeah.
If you share your little small knowledge with somebody else, and he says you are walking away, not because you didn't know it, but it's refreshing.
Yeah.
You know? But we live by the scoreboard. The scoreboard dictates to us, and because we live by the scoreboard, we will do anything not to lose, but we don't do anything to win. We do nothing to win, but we will do anything not to lose.
Wow, that's powerful.
So if we try to win, if you go out there, if you can become what I said, and Andy knows this, what I said, me as a coach, I will never teach a player how to pass because I'm wasting his time. I will teach him when to pass.
Yeah.
So if he knows when to pass, he will teach himself and put hours in because he knows when, so he needs to perfect it. So there's 3, 4, 5, 7 kinds of passing. So if I spend all my time and he can pass after 5 years, because it will take me 5 years to teach him that, and he can pass after 5 years, you will still not know when to pass.
Yeah.
Because there's sometimes when you need to pass to your left, other times you need to pass to your right, and then you need sometimes to keep the ball. If you don't understand and those things, because most and all the commands at our stage in South Africa comes from the sideline.
Yeah.
All the commands come to the sideline. But every command in rugby comes from in front. You have to react on what's in front. And if your reaction speed is 10 times better, combine it with your own speed and with the support lines and creative skills, I'm telling you now, some people will have to stop you.
Well, there we have it. That was Coach's Corner, an insightful segment. We want to say thank you to Andy and Coach Pieter for coming on the show. Watch the space. They are going to do amazing stuff. And I know they're going to be at that tournament next year, playing the sevens, both women and men's. And hopefully, myself and Lucian always throw our names in the hat to be a part of these coaching setups and stuff. So hopefully, we are there.
If I work for a boss like this, I will definitely go.
Yeah, Mike, you heard it now, eh? Mike behind the camera as usual. Thank you to Coach and Andy for coming on the show. That was Coach's Corner. We'll be back after this. Yep, that was Coach's Corner, and what an absolute treat it was. But we got to get back into the action. And I had the privilege this weekend of going out to Malmesbury and checking out this game, not just checking it out, but presenting the game as well, between Westbank and Darling. Check it out.
Lekker diep inskop daar. Skoon gemaakt hier die ligte Ridwan April. Hy gee hom wyd. Hy 14 toe, Etienne van Rooyen. Hy vat 1 en 2. Hy word nie gehou in die tackle nie, maar is Nelani weer eens gelyk soos 'n hoogvat. Maar skeieregter sê nee, dis fine. Bal kom uit, dit's wyd. Waar die bal gaan. Hendrik Matthijssen. Hy's verby een, daar sit nou in die 7 flanks aan en hy het Solomons. Hy loop amper so. Het dit oor 2 spelers, maar die bal is nog steeds by Westbank as hulle op die aanval. Die bal wat wyd gaan. Daar's heel wat ooraan gee wyd. Die bal wat wyd gaan. Weer een van Rooyen. En 'n stick quick ball. Daar is 'n 3 vir Westbank.
Lafleur.
Bal kom uit Nelani. Hy's aan 'n gaping. Skoppie vorentoe, Matthijssen, wat maak hy? Hy kry hom. Hendrik Matthijssen, hy druk hom.
Voordeel, serie skeieregter.
Hier's 'n bietjie van 'n mismatch. Hendrik Matthijssen. Hy hardloop daar by 1, by 2, by 3. Gaan hy hom druk? Hy gee die bal wyd. Ridwan April, hy word nie gehou in die tackle nie. Hy druk hom.
Ons speel nog aan. Bal wat wyd kom, later gaan. Hy soek ondersteuning en hy kry hom. Westbank op die aanval, Pietersen, skoppie vorentoe. Hy kry hom. Lionel Pietersen. Hy's onder die pala. Lush, interesting game at Westbank. Tight one. Darling playing with 14 men, or Westbank holding out at the end.
Yeah, interesting end to that match there. CV, a lot of controversy. Obviously die manne was nie baie gelukkig met hoe hy wedstryd geëindig het nie, maar nietemin Westbank welverdiende wenner sal ek sê oor Darling, 33 punte teenoor 28.
En hoe lyk dinge aan die res van die Swartland?
Die Swartland natuurlik, die manne wat nou weer terugkom na hy
Darling na lang hy uit.
Die manne wat bietjie pak gekry het. So Koringberg verloor by die huis teen Never Despair 5-33. Saron weer terug op die wenpad. Hulle klop vir Good Hopes 15-14 en dan natuurlik hy wedstryd wat ons uitgesaai het Westbank wat vir Darling klop 33-28 aan Malmesbury.
Ja, lekker Westbank, Never Despair and Darling. Abbotsdale also in there as well as Mauriceburg to try and fight it out for that top 12 spots. But we've got some more action lined up for you. And that happened in the Weskus. Daar was 'n paar lekker results daar.
Ja, lekker results, lekker close results. Ook 'n paar spanne wat weer pak gevat het daar in die Weskus. Paternoster klop vir Hopefield 19-12 by die huis. Saldana baie punte afgestaan die naweek. Maar hulle klop vir Mamrie 36 punte teenoor 23. Veldrif 52, Young Hearts 46 en Vredenburg klop vir Langebaan 37-21 by die huis en St Helena gee die Pakketberg Rhinos die pak in die Weskus. Hulle klop vir hulle 53 punte teenoor 17.
Yes, so it lyk tight in die Weskus. Saldanha, St Helena is nou nek en nek. Saldanha 65, St Helena 63. Vredenburg is ook nog in daar. in die running, soos ek dit nou kan sien. Dankie, Young Hearts sal dit nou kan maak. Hulle is op 43, maar dat is definitief 'n three-way fight vir hy top 12 spots.
Ja, dit gaan lyk my in die Weskus en in die Wit Sentraal lyk dit vir my is hy drie spanne wat daar mooi bolle op. So hulle gaan mekaar moet uitwis hierso na die einde toe. As jy ek wil net eintlik ook kyk, daar net hy relegation, die relegation battle aan die Weskus baie belangrik om te kyk. Ek dink is Piketberg, Saron, die manne wat as twee spanne wat gaan drop haar.
Ja, dis twee. Tans is Piketberg laaste op 16 punte. Langebaan het 21. Hulle is tweede laaste, so hulle is ook in hy relegation zone. Hopefield het 25, net bo hulle. En dan Paternoster 28 en Velderhof 29. So met 3 wedstryde oor kan enige een van hy spanne nog ons weet nie van die relegation wie gaan gerelegate word en wie gaan dit maak.
Dis hoekom wil ek net dit noem. Langebaan speel die naweek teen Saldanha in Langebaan.
Nog 'n grootte.
Langebaan lê amper heel onder. Ek gee vir Langebaan die naweek die scope oor Saldanha aan Langebaan. En ek sê Langebaan kom uit hy relegation battle uit daarso.
Dis so 'n staf wat ek sien regtig hoe hy gebeur nie. So ek gaan nog altyd met die tried and trusted Saldanha for the win. Definitely. Maar ja,
daar's nog obviously nog ander groot games wat die naweek plek vang in die Swartland. Is dit Wesbank teen Abbotsdale 1-4. Obviously ons het gepraat van die Breë Langeberg Rangers, Robertson Rangers wat teen Montetjie Klap gaan speel 1-3 en dan die Eagles teen Citrusdal in die Noordweste nommer 4-2 groot games. En dan in die Overberg Houston wat teen Safkol speel nommer 2-4. Hy's maar my picks van groot games vir die naweek
asseblief. Bredasdorp Rangers ook terug in action. So hopelik kan hulle man trots maak daar in die Overberg en seker maak dat hulle ook hy punte aanteken. Is tyd oral in die Boland. Dit is lekker in die Boland man.
Is baie lekker in die Boland. As jy wen is 'n voorreg man. Is regtig 'n voorreg om op deel te kan wees van dit, om deel te kan vorm en om dit te kan uitsaai en dit vir julle buite te kan bring op die mees uitnemendste manier wat ons dit kan doen as jy weet. Dit is waarvoor ons streef om vir julle goeie kwaliteit rugby te gee week na week, naweek na naweek, Saterdag na Saterdag en ja, die ouens doen dit op die veld, so ons kan dit agter die skerms ook doen as jy weet.
Okay, definitief. Nou, voor ons 'n break gaan vat, I've got a new segment that I want to add to the show. So I was in Malmesbury, obviously, at the Westbank game. And what intrigued me was the fact that the fans were absolutely loving the vibes and creating an absolute atmosphere, both from Darling and from Westbank side. So for you, the clubs out there, I want to do a little something. You and your support, all you got to do is sing your best song. Record a clip of it, right? A video recording of it, and we'll clip it into the show. And then you've got to send that clip to clubrugbylive@gmail.com. That's clubrugbylive@gmail.com. We need a name for it, so I was thinking of calling it the Rugby Pop Stars.
That sounds good, SUV.
Does it sound good? Mike, does it sound good? Mike says it sounds good.
It sounds good.
Yeah, new segment. It's called Rugby Pop Stars. Your team, your club. Send us a clip of you chanting and singing your heart out, and we will feature it right here on the show. We'll be back after this. Well, that's another episode done and dusted, but a beautiful show nonetheless. We had a lot of highlights, but the highlight for me was Andy and Coach Pieter joining us today. They're doing fantastic work with the deaf community out there, and we wish them nothing but the best. They're doing this without any sort of sponsorships like a lot of our clubs.
Yeah. No, RCB, we wish them nothing but the best. We are praying for them, and we are hoping and believing and standing in faith with them that they will get the funding, that they will get the necessary resources to be able to go to the World Cup and just to participate and adding value, like Coach Pieter said earlier. So yeah, very great show, very privileged to be on this show. We're just going from grace to grace once again. One level of grace to the next level of grace here.
Yeah, the Bible says the latter shall be greater than the former. 9 episodes it took, and we now had rugby royalty on the show. A lot of insight that the coaches can impart to the players as well, especially coming towards the top 12.
Yeah, a lot of small things that coach gave us, you know, the 1% working on the mind. What can I do off the field that's not on the field that can improve the player, even if it's just for 1%. And that it got me thinking a lot, because we are working with individuals, we are working with players as well. So I definitely got a lot of value out of this tonight. I hope that you, the viewer that's watching the show, also got a lot out of the show as I did, SUV.
Yeah, it's about time for us to say goodbye though. We don't know exactly what games we are going to be streaming this week yet. It's not finalized, but stay tuned to our social media platforms. And of course you can do that by going to TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course here on YouTube as well. If you hit that subscribe and notification button. And of course it's at Club Rugby Live on all those platforms. And we are going to get that information to you. It's a wrap of episode 10. From me and LC, we want to say thank you to Brackenfell Rugby Club once again. And of course our strategic partners at FFG Sports. And this broadcast, this episode, this milestone, proudly sponsored by our friends at Standard Bank. From your boys, let's cheers till next week.